Hello, everyone. I'm librarian Aiden,
And I'm Librarian Thomas.
and thank you for joining us for tonight's virtual tutorial of how to stream movies using Kanopy and Hoopla. For those of you who aren't familiar, Kanopy and Hoopla are the library's free video streaming services. Both of them are completely free with your library card, and they both have a vast selection of award-winning movies, especially independent and foreign films, educational videos, and a lot more. But the two services are quite different, so we're going to go through each one, Kanopy first, and then Hoopla. For those of you who are attending live, please leave your questions in the chat. And for those of you watching the recording after the fact, you can comment with any questions that you have, and we'll comment and reply. So I will hand it over to Thomas, who's going to go over Kanopy.
Okay, so I have Kanopy on my screen here. I'm going to share that with you all right now. Okay, so you all should be looking at my screen, which has Kanopy on it. And the first thing I want to just kind of let you know about is there's a couple different ways you can access Kanopy. There's sunnyvale.kanopy.com, which lets you get right to our login screen for Kanopy. You can also just go to kanopy.com. You'll be asked to put in the library that you belong to, or you can access it from our website. There's a link on the library's homepage, or on the library's website, to access this page. But I'm accessing it with sunnyvale.kanopy.com. So this is probably how most of you guys are going to see it when you guys are doing it yourselves. So if you haven't created an account, you're going to do that by coming down here to Add Library Card. And you're going to just click on that. And it's going to ask you for a library card number. And I have one here, that a dummy one that I'm going to use. So we're going to type that in. And you're going to want to type in the full number starting with the 2. So the 2145, that's on every card. Okay. And then your PIN, you're just going to hit continue. And then you'll be asked to fill out all of this information, just name, email address, and I'm going to just do it really quick here. Just going to call it adult librarian. I'm just going to use a quick Gmail account here that we have. And make up a password there. Okay, so you could watch this kind of brief tutorial that they'll give you, but we're not going to do that because that's what I'm going to do for you. So we're going to head back to the main page here. Once you're logged in, you'll get a screen that looks like this. There's a couple of things you're going to want to know really quick here. This right here, this number, for everybody, it'll start off with a 5. That's your credits for the month, and those restart every month. So you start every month with 5. And then this bar here is your search bar. You have your account information. Let me move some of this out of the way here. So your account information, so you can kind of navigate from here. You can log out, parental controls if you need it, Kanopy Kids. I'm actually going to do this really quick, Kanopy Kids, because this is really simple. And it just brings you to the kids section. And it functions pretty much the same as regular Kanopy. It's just got a bunch of kid content on it. So for children, and it's story times, some short videos and stuff like that. So if you have kids at home that you want to, entertain with Kanopy, you have this option here. But we're going to leave that. And again, it functions pretty much the same, so you'll kind of see all of that. Okay, so how to search and browse. So obviously your search is up here, and you can type in the title of a movie, you can type in a genre, you can type in the name of an actor or director, and you should get a result there. So just to kind of give you an example, we'll type in mystery, see what comes up for mystery. You do get some suggested options here. So if you're looking for something specific, you can probably just click on it from here once you see it pop up, or you can just go to view all results and you'll get some stuff here. Different movies, you do have filters on the left side here, so you can filter by subject. So like if we wanted just, movies that were mystery, or social sciences, so probably more like documentary type stuff, the arts, world cinema, and then see more will kind of give us all of those different options there. So there's a lot to choose from. Suppliers, so people who are putting up videos on here, you can go through this and get different things with mystery in the title or that have to do with mystery. So I kind of encourage you to kind of check out these filters on your own, because there is a few to go through here that you can narrow your search down by if you're just kind of doing more of a general search. And then over here, so right now we're looking at videos. So these are going to be videos with mystery in the title. You can also switch this to subject right over here, and we get mystery. So we can click that and see what that gives us, which is, so obviously everything that's labeled as the subject of mystery. So like Memento, which is a really popular film. If you guys haven't seen that, it's a pretty good mystery film. Black Christmas, an older horror mystery type movie. So you do get a lot of different types of options there. So just kind of keep that in mind as you're doing your browse, that there are different ways to kind of search for things. So you do have this option up here. Let's go back to the home so we can kind of start fresh. And then there's a couple of different ways you can browse. My personal favorite way to browse is to just kind of scroll down and look at these categories that Kanopy has kind of made for you. Newly added movies is one of my favorite things to look at, because you can kind of see all the new stuff that they're putting in. And this is new movies added to Kanopy, not necessarily new movies that just came out. But you'll find some interesting stuff here, and this little arrow here will kind of show you the list a little further. You can kind of keep going there. And then there's newly added documentaries that you can check out. World cinema is another really good one to look at if you're interested in foreign films. And then this is a newly added one category that they've done, most watched films of 2020. So if you want to see what other people are watching or were interested in this last year, definitely check that out. But yeah, you can kind of just keep going and see all the different categories that are curated. Some of these will be curated specifically for you based on your viewing. So if you watch a lot of biopics, you'll tend to get more of this stuff. Or if you watch more PBS stuff, you'll probably get more PBS recommendations. So that's how I like to do it. But you can also come up here to the browse, and you'll have all these different options, very similar to what we saw in the search, all those filters that we had there. So we'll click movies. So you can, so movies, you can kind of filter, oh geez, you can filter even more. So let's say drama, and it should take us to different drama categories. So like the most popular dramas, Oscar winners and nominees. This looks like it would be a good one to check out. Contemporary cinema. So again, just more of these categories based on a specific, genre or search that you were looking for. Just more for if you're looking for something without knowing exactly what you want. So that's the basic search and browse, pretty easy. I always like to recommend just play with it. You can't break it. You might get a little lost, but you can always go back to the start by just clicking Kanopy up here in the left corner. So I just highly recommend playing around, browsing on your own to get a feel for it. Your credits up here. So just again, really quick, you get 5 credits per month. And so that's 5 movies or 5 episodes of a TV show if you're watching a TV show on here, 5 documentaries, and you can mix and match. It's so 1 movie or 3 documentaries, and so however you do it, you get a total of 5. Once you start watching something, you have 3 days to finish it before you're required to use another credit. So if you're like me and you like to watch maybe a half hour of a movie here or an hour of a movie there, you get 3 days to kind of do that. And then if you take longer than that, it's going to eat up another credit for the month to go back and watch that movie. So keep that in mind as you are doing that. Another important feature here that you should probably be aware of is casting. And if you're not familiar with what casting is, that's basically taking what's happening on your screen, so your laptop, your mobile device, like your phone or your tablet, and projecting it onto your TV. And there's a lot of different devices for that. A lot of those are supported by Kanopy or support Kanopy. So you can, so like if you have Roku, you can they have an app for that. So that's not really casting, but you can access it on Roku. If you're like me and you don't have Roku, you would just go into the casting and do it that way. That's more for mobile devices. So you'll see that on your phone. I believe it's up in the right corner is where you'll see the little casting icon. It looks kind of like I think it's like a square with some effects coming off the corner of it. If you're on your laptop and you want to project onto your TV, the best way to do that is to connect with like an HDMI cable into your TV and use your TV on the HDMI setting.
Can I cut in?
Yes.
So I have Chromecast, and when I use Kanopy, there's a Chromecast icon in the lower right corner of the viewing screen. Do you want to click on one of the videos right now, just so they can see what that looks like?
Yeah. Let's see. We'll pull this one up.
Yeah, so you can see it has the video there, and once you hit play, for me, there's a little Chromecast icon in the corner. So it just depends on which TV app you're using. In the chat, I put the Kanopy help link because it has different instructions for each different type of TV app. So it has instructions for Apple TV, Roku, Samsung Smart TV. So if you have any of those, you can check out that page and it will go into detail about how to connect it.
Thank you. So yeah, it will look different depending on your service and your device that you're using, but it all kind of does the same thing, just projects it elsewhere. And again, you can use your HDMI if you're using a laptop or a PC at home and just plug right into your TV. I think that's it as far as like the gist of this goes. And again, I think with a lot of these services that we provide here, the best thing to do is just kind of play with it, browse it on your own and just kind of check it out yourself. And we're always open to questions at the library about these kinds of things. So if you're stuck at home trying to figure this out, you can call the library during our working hours and a librarian can help you with it. We also offer a program called Get Connected on every Tuesday where you can set up a 20-minute appointment to speak with me to kind of work on these kinds of things. So if you come across an issue and you don't know how to troubleshoot it, you can do that, set up a Get Connected appointment. I'll help you out with it, as well as other services that we have. So like ebooks, audiobooks, all that good stuff. So there are those options there for you if you do get stuck along the way. And I think we can open up to questions now.
If you have any questions about Kanopy before we move on to Hoopla, go ahead and put them in the chat. But Thomas, could you also go to the search and type in credit-free viewing?
Yes.
So there should, at the bottom of the search, yes, there's a category for credit-free viewing. There's a question in the chat about you're only allowed to watch 5 plays per month. Yes, but the exception is for credit-free viewing. You can watch anything in this category and it doesn't take up one of your plays. Also, if you hit, I'm going to go into this just because it's different for Hoopla. For Kanopy, the play credit counts 5 seconds after you hit play. So you can hit play and decide that you changed your mind and then not watch it. And then that doesn't count against you. But once you've watched 5 seconds of a video, then that counts as a play. It's going to be different for Hoopla, which you'll see later. But yes, this category, credit-free viewing, you can watch that and it doesn't count as a play at all.
It looks like there's some good stuff in there too. So definitely don't skip on this like I do. I usually watch stuff that's credits, but it looks like there's some good stuff here. So yeah, any other questions?
We have one question. Can you put in a request for movies via the library? Unfortunately, we have no control over what appears on Kanopy or Hoopla. They sort of have their set video library that every library that subscribes to them gets the same videos. So you can request DVDs and Blu-rays from us through our online catalog. There's a menu item for suggested purchase, or you can just use any of our contacts such as phone or chat to request something on DVD or Blu-ray. But for Kanopy and Hoopla, it's just what they give us.
Okay, so this next question is the limit for credit for viewing 10 as shown on the screen. I don't think this is a limit. I think this is showing you that there are 10 items here that we've pulled up.
And these change. The credit-free viewing videos change.
Yeah, so was it every month? Will they change? Do you know?
I'm not sure how frequently they change. I just know that they'll have different things under credit-free viewing every so often.
Okay, so so yeah, you could watch these twice each if you wanted to. You're not limited on that. Okay,
all right, then I guess we will move on to Hoopla.
Okay.
Okay, now everyone should be able to see hoopladigital.com. You can see the URL up here. Unlike Kanopy, we don't have a Sunnyvale specific login page for this. Everyone's just going to go to hoopladigital.com. And if you've never used Hoopla before, then you want to go to Get Started Today. If you have, then you just enter your email and password right there. But we're going to start from scratch. So Get Started Today. And I'm just going to enter a dummy email address. You make up a password. And then on this page, you choose your library. Some of you might see Sunnyvale immediately, depending on what your location settings are. But if you don't, you can go ahead and type in your zip code. And then Sunnyvale should come up. So you click on that, you enter your library card number. And we already used this card. So I'm just going to go ahead and log in. Actually, I'm going to stop the share for a moment because I did not put down what the password is for that account. So I'm going to log into mine. So when you log into Hoopla, this is what the main page looks like. You can see immediately how many more titles you can borrow in the current month. And that is the first of the month until the last of the month. So if you're on the last of the month and you decide you want to use up all 5 borrows, then the next day you'll have all of those borrows back. And I say borrows as opposed to plays for a couple of reasons. One is that Hoopla is different from Kanopy in that it isn't just for video. You can actually also use it for ebooks, audiobooks, music, and comics. They have a really good comics reader in there. And the second reason is because it doesn't go by plays, it goes by a borrowing period. Let's go ahead and browse for something to borrow. So there are a couple ways that you can find what you want. The first is to use this search bar. Let's say I want to watch the Hirokazu Koreeda movie, Shoplifters. You can see when I type it in, it suggests Shoplifters here, which doesn't necessarily mean that Hoopla has it. It just means that it knows that it's something that people have searched for before. But there could be lots of things called Shoplifters because it's just a word. So you can also filter on this side for, I'm going to filter for movies. But if, for example, you wanted audiobooks, you could do that as well. So when I do that, it comes right up and I can click it to see more information. And down here, it will tell you what the loan period is for the item. For movies, it's always going to be 3 days. So if you hit borrow, then that loan period starts. And if you don't watch it in those 3 days, then you've still used up the borrow. But it also means that you can watch it as many times as you want within those 3 days. For movies and television, it's 3 days. For everything else, it's 21 days, 3 weeks. The other way that you can find what you're what you might want to borrow is through this browse. So if you go to movies, then it'll show you some popular ones right away. But I find that this is actually not usually the most exciting section. I don't know how they count popularity, but a lot of these I'll have never heard of. So I prefer to go to categories. And categories is where you can search by genre, but they also have these special categories that change. For example, right now they have a category called New Year, New You. And then next month, they'll probably have a category for Black History Month. They usually do. But this is also where you can find categories like certified fresh. And this refers to the critics aggregation site Rotten Tomatoes, where a movie is certified fresh if critics generally agree that it's a good film. So if you go in there, this is where you would find a lot of the movies that have more critical buzz. So things like Hearts Beat Loud, Moonlight, a lot of the award-winning films. There's also a category for educational videos, category for science, but you're not limited to what they have listed here, because if, for example, you wanted videos about astronomy, then you could type astronomy up here and get topic related ones that way. So there's all these show me science videos that seem to be aimed towards middle grade students. And then we also get a couple of PBS documentaries and National Geographic. So in addition to movies, Hoopla also has television. So you're not going to get the major cable networks in here. You're not going to get HBO or Stars, but there's a lot of British television actually. So they have a lot of BBC in here. They have a lot of Acorn TV. And Miss Fisher's Murder Mysteries is actually a show that I've heard a lot about. It's been on my to watch list. And so this is what the borrow page looks like for that. So each episode counts as one borrow. And I'm going to go ahead and borrow the first episode of this. And I'll go back and borrow a movie as well so that you can see what they look like. So you can see what you've borrowed by clicking see all borrowed titles here, or going to my Hoopla at the top and going to currently borrowed. And you can see the movie, it says return in 3 days. And that will go down to 2. It will go down as you approach the return date. And then for TV shows, it shows the return date on this page. Because if I were to borrow 2 shows, then it would, or 2 episodes, it would show them as one item, 2 episodes borrowed, but then they might have different return dates. Like Kanopy, Hoopla also has a kids mode, and that you toggle at the top. So there's this, right next to the search bar, there's kids off. Let's go to movies so you can see how that affects the selection. If you go to kids off and you turn it on, you can see it gives you a lot of animated films, a lot of Mo Willems. Oh, it seems to be a little buggy right now. So if you want to play something, you can either do that from the currently borrowed page we were on below, or when you borrow, then, oh, I see, I'm still on kids mode. That's why it wasn't showing me anything. Then the borrow button will immediately turn into a play button. And that brings up the viewer. If I had any TV devices like Chromecast, then that would show up here in the corner, which is also where the subtitles are. But right now, my Chromecast is off. And just like Kanopy, it can also be connected to Roku, to Apple TV, to any of those services. Does anyone have any questions? Is the limit here 5 as well? The limit here is, yes, actually, let me think, because we changed it recently. I think it might actually be 3 per month.
I think it is 3.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I think it is 3, yeah.
We recently changed it to 3 per month. What's the main? I'm not sure what's the main difference between Kanopy and Hoopla. So I would say that the main difference is that Kanopy, I would say, has a wider selection of movies, especially a wider selection of festival films and things like that. So that's usually where I go to watch movies. But Hoopla has ebooks and audiobooks, and basically it has a whole lot of things that you can borrow besides movies. So especially if you're an avid reader, Hoopla doesn't appear in our catalog. So I usually check our catalog for ebooks and audiobooks and then also come to Hoopla to check for them. But as far as movies go, they also just have different selections. So sometimes there's a movie I really want and it's only on Hoopla. More often it's only on Kanopy, but sometimes it is only on Hoopla. Are you allowed to have multiple borrows in Hoopla and Kanopy? Yes. If we go back to my borrowed page, these are all items that I have currently borrowed. I know it shows more than 3 and I said you can only have 3. This is because I have multiple library cards. If you go to my account in Hoopla, then you can actually add another library card for another library if you have one. And then you'll be able to use your borrows for both libraries. And you basically just switch between cards when you run out of borrows. Kanopy is the same. You can start a movie and then start another movie and sort of hop back and forth between the two as much as you want until the 72 hours that your play credit expires for those movies. All of these materials are free. Yes, they are free with your library card, and your library card is free. If you don't have a library card, is it showing the library webpage now? Okay. And you can go to the library webpage at sunnyvalelibrary.org and go to get a library card and click register online here. You just need to fill out a form, and then this will, once you submit this, you'll immediately be emailed a library card number that you can use with these sites.
So there's actually a quicker way. Oh, they just added an icon to the home page to go directly.
Sure, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Might be a little bit easier for you.
Yeah, if you go to sunnyvalelibrary.org, then there's a button here that says get a library card. That goes to the same place. As Thomas said, you can also attend our Get Connected program.
Yeah, so Get Connected is every Tuesday. It's 20-minute appointments from 2 to 4. So you can sign up for any of those 20-minute appointments in there. So on our website here, sunnyvalelibrary.org, it'll redirect you to this URL here. But if you just come down to the calendar here, on every Tuesday, so long as the library is operating that day, you can just click on that day of the week and it'll be here, Get Connected, and you can follow this link here to schedule an appointment, and it's not showing anything. I don't know why. I'll fix that tomorrow morning for sure. But what it'll be is it'll just show you the date that is available. So it'll always be a Tuesday that's lit up. And then on this side, there are times. You just click that, it'll take you to the next screen, and all it's gonna ask for is your name, a way to contact you, and then what it is you're looking to have help with. And then I'll contact you the day of your appointment, and we go over all that stuff. But the main thing to know about it right now is just how to get to that screen, which is go to the calendar on our main page and just click this "Please schedule an appointment" link, and that'll take you there. I'll make sure it's up and running first thing tomorrow, so that way you can actually schedule an appointment should you need one.
And that's for all sorts of tech assistance.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be Kanopy, Hoopla. It could be anything. It could be ebooks. It could be if you want to upload a picture from your phone to an email and send it to somebody, I'll help you with that too. So the reason Get Connected isn't working, I just realized, is because you do have to book, I think, at minimum 24 hours in advance. So that's why you didn't see the times coming up. If you do need it for anything, or for Kanopy or Hoopla, anything like that, you should be able to schedule an appointment tomorrow. I think at 2 o'clock is when it'll open up for the next week. But it does end, the sign up does end 24 hours before the appointments are to begin. So it's just to give me some time to prep should I need it. So yeah, that's why it's not broken. It's just I totally slipped on that aspect of it. So
you can also use our chat with a librarian option at the bottom of this page.
Yes.
As long as it's during library hours, or you can, if you click on that, I believe right now it will be an email form. Yes,
Yeah.
so it says chat is offline, but you can still contact us. That will take you to an email form and also to the page that has our phone number. Submit a question in the sidebar is the email form. And right under that, you see our phone number. Option 6 is for a reference librarian.
Okay.
So part of the reason that we decided to hold this tutorial and to hold it now is because we used to have a monthly film group in the library where we would screen a film and then discuss it. And later this month, in 2 weeks, in fact, we are going to bring it back virtually. So I am going to drop the link for the first meeting into the chat. And the way that we're doing it now is you watch the movie by yourself in advance on Kanopy or Hoopla. This particular movie is available on Kanopy. And then you come to the meeting to discuss it with other people. The first movie that we're watching is a documentary called Young Lakota, which is about political turmoil that happens on the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota when the state puts a ban on all abortions, and the president of the Oglala Sioux tribe decides that she announces that she's going to open a women's clinic, and she faces political backlash. So that is an award-winning PBS documentary that is available on Kanopy. If you're interested in the virtual film group, you can watch it on your own time and then join us in 2 weeks on January 25th, 7 to 8 p.m., just like this. And we're going to have a different film on the 4th Monday of each month. There's a question, can you please email us a copy of chat links, phones, notes? Yes. So this program is recording right now. I'm going to edit it to take out some of the awkward pauses, and then I'll send a link to everyone who registered. And I'll include any of the links that were mentioned in the chat. Will we know the title of the movie before the meeting? So if you scroll up just a little bit in the chat, you'll see the link for the movie that's in 2 weeks, which is Young Lakota. The others are scheduled. I don't think that they are in the calendar yet, but if it hasn't gone out yet, then there's going to be an email going out on the adult newsletter that has the titles of the upcoming films. But I can tell you that for February is going to be The Last Black Man in San Francisco. The March one is going to be a documentary called Motherland, and then April is going to be The Farewell. And then I just got a question, are the screenings not available in Hoopla and Kanopy? All of these films are available on either Kanopy or Hoopla. If you click on the link for the Young Lakota registration, then there's a link in there to the movie on Kanopy. And that's going to be the case for the registration for all these films. There's a question, don't need the recording so much as a summary written with clickable links, info on credit-free. Kanopy and Hoopla limits and movie groups. Thank you for that feedback. Yes, I'll put a summary of the most pertinent points, but you can also put links to the Kanopy and Hoopla help pages, which are pretty accessible. They explain things really well and in more detail than we did here. And we also do have we do have sets of tutorials on Kanopy in our niche academy, and I can link those as well. If a movie is available on both Kanopy and Hoopla, which do you recommend?
Either one.
Either one. The movie viewers are both good. Honestly, if I'm watching it on my computer and I'm doing something else on my computer at the same time, then I like to use Hoopla because it full screens the video in the browser, whereas Kanopy, you either have it as the little screen or your whole computer screen. That's kind of a specific difference, but it's kind of wherever you have play credits or borrows. If I want to watch more movies each month, can I purchase extra credits? No, you can't purchase extra credits. You can sign up for more library cards. So if you're a Sunnyvale resident, then you are eligible for a Santa Clara County Library District card. We're not part of them. They are a completely separate library from us. But if you live in Sunnyvale, you're eligible for a card with them. You're, also, all California residents are eligible for a Santa Clara City Library card. So when I want extra play credits, I use more library cards. California is nice that way. You get some flexibility with what cards you're eligible for. Can one apply for new library cards online because you used to verify in person? Ooh, so here's a fun thing about Kanopy and Hoopla is you do not need a full access library card. If you use the link, the page that we showed you earlier, the where you go to get a card and then it has the form and you submit it for an instant card. That's what's called an instant online access card, and you have full access to Kanopy and Hoopla without having to verify in person. If you want to borrow physical materials, then yes, you need to come to the library with proof of mailing address and a photo ID. You can come to the library doors Monday to Saturday, Monday to Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. And just come to the library doors, and that's how you would turn it to a full access card for borrowing physical materials. But Kanopy and Hoopla, you don't need to do that. You can just use the number that was emailed to you. I don't know if that's the case for all libraries in the county. I'm pretty sure that's the case for Santa Clara County Library District, is they'll give you an instant e-card. Santa Clara City, I'm not sure, because as I said, they're completely separate from us. So it would be better to, if you can't find it on their website, then it would be better to contact them to see what their current policies are. Mary says, I got Santa Clara library card last week using online forms, super easy. Thanks, Mary. Any limitations for PC versus Mac? No.
Yeah, you
well,
should be
I'm
fine.
on a Mac.
And I'm on a PC, so.
Yeah, it's also, both of these, we should have mentioned this, Kanopy and Hoopla both have apps that are compatible with both Android and iPhone.
Yes.
So you can do that as well. Browser, I use Chrome. I don't know that they have browser limitations. It's a good question.
I also use Chrome. I have not had anyone come up with questions or come up with that issue before about it. So I don't know. But if you do have issues with it, one of the easiest ways to troubleshoot is to just change your browser. Chrome seems to work for most things, so that might be a good way to kind of test that out.
Hoopla does not seem to have a help item about supported browsers. Oh, no. Okay, it says they support Microsoft Edge, Chrome, Firefox, and Safari.
So all the main ones, the big ones.
The apps for the mobile devices are just called Kanopy and Hoopla. If you go to your App Store or your Google Play Store, wherever you usually get apps, you can just type in the name of them and they should come right up. If you find a movie on Kanopy or Hoopla that you super love, feel free to let us know, first of all, what you watched, what you thought of the services. We love getting feedback about that sort of thing. These are independent vendors, so we can't control them, but it's good to be able to hear from people what they think of them. All right, if we have no other questions, then let's call it a night. Thanks for coming, everyone.